Now, President Donald Trump took some time out of his busy schedule on Wednesday to congratulate Mitt Romney for not contracting COVID 19. Huh. Well, isn't that nice? Well, is it really? Well, we'll take a look. Um, the Utah senator and former Republican nominee for president announced Tuesday that he had tested negative for the virus, but will remain in quarantine for the time being. Okay. Now, to celebrate Romney's news on Wednesday morning, this is what Trump wrote on Twitter. Quote, "This is really great news. I'm so happy that I could barely speak. He may have been a terrible presidential candidate, and even worse, U.S. senator, but he is a rhino, and I like him a lot." Wow. Okay. Yes, that was dripping with sarcasm and also condescension. Or, no, maybe not condescension. Uh, really, I mean, as hatred, pure hatred, right? That's what I get from that. And so if you didn't think Trump could be more petty, well, look, you haven't paid attention to Donald Trump because petty is what he does. And it's what he does best. So now, clarification, right? I'm going to say some nice things about Mitt Romney, even though, one, I don't really like Mitt Romney. At least I don't really know him, but I know his policies, and his policies are terrible. But let's be honest, I do not wish sickness or harm on Mitt Romney or his family. And look, his wife, for example, has MS, I believe. And so she is very susceptible to this virus. And so if he got sick, she might have gotten sick, and she could possibly die for it. Again, I care about human beings. Yes, it is a weakness, apparently, that I'm sure will be exploited later in my life, if not now. But I care about human beings, and so I don't want anything bad to happen to them. Now, again, and not only that, but look, Mitt Romney's an older guy. And so you wouldn't believe it looking at him, but he's like in his 70s. Wow. Wow. But okay, anyway. Now, another person that got infected, or that was suspected to be infected, but had been proven to be infected, was Rand Paul, right? Rand Paul tested positive for COVID-19. And so, look, I think in that case, there's a little bit of karma involved because he was going around spreading it and also had voted against COVID-19 relief in the Senate. So a little bit of karma there, but at the same time, Rand Paul is much more susceptible than Mitt Romney because he has part of his lung missing because of the fight that he got into with his neighbor. And so, look, all I can hope is that Rand Paul realizes while he's being treated with government health care that every other human person also deserves that kind of health care. Okay? And that maybe he thinks about other people just once in his life. Look, I honestly think that out of the three people in the story, who are all not great people, that's Donald Trump, Rand Paul, and Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney's actually the least worst person. I know. He may be weak, and I've made fun of him before, right? And massively wrong in policy. Terrible policy. But I don't think he's monstrous like Donald Trump. Or immune to any empathy. Or realizing his complete hypocrisy like Rand Paul. And so I think at the very least, Romney is a little bit more human than the rest of them. And it's funny saying that because I made fun of him for being robotic. I mean, especially if you guys were around during this 2020 or 2012 campaign, he was definitely robotic. But again, when you compare him to Trump as completely monstrous, it kind of makes you feel like maybe you should have a little bit of empathy for him. At least I do. I'm glad he's not sick. Okay, I'm glad he's not sick. And because I don't wish this on anybody. I don't. Whereas, look, Donald Trump, I also don't wish it on him, weirdly enough. And again, that sounds like a weakness, and it will be used against me. I know, because Republicans are monstrous. But Donald Trump, in his disgusting way, was sarcastic about when Romney had to quarantine because he might have been sick, and now comes and attacks him when he's in the clear. And so he's a bad, bad person. Bad person. No doubt. But there is one more thing here that's really not related, or sort of tangentially related, right? You know what bothers me? All these rich people and powerful people getting tests before everybody else. Look, you have Americans that Mitt Romney was not symptomatic, and he ended up not having it. Rand Paul was asymptomatic, and he got tested anyway. Now, I understand that you need like a government, right? And they are government representatives. But you have rich people and powerful people that get tests without symptoms. But you have people right now in America who have symptoms that they refuse to test because they don't have the test kits. And so that is awful. And so we need to do something about that. Rich and powerful people shouldn't get tests before anyone else if they're not showing symptoms. I mean, look, part of the whole fault of not having tests and not being prepared with this is giant tax cuts on the rich, voted for by people like Rand Paul. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.